Hello everybody, Abbott's brother here, and this was a requested video to show how Assassin's Creed Origins runs on my RX 5700 XT. Now, unfortunately, Origins is not a game that's very well optimized for Radeon, and there are a few things that help make it perform a little bit better. So first thing I'm going to show you this program. It's called RamMap. Now this is a utility. I think you can download it directly from Microsoft, and I'll put a link to that in the description. But basically, there's an issue with the way Windows 10 specifically manages, let's just start it up here, manages RAM and specifically what they call the standby queue here. And basically, there's a whole bunch of stuff that gets stored here waiting to be used. At least this is how I understand it. But the result is that if the standby queue is too large, Assassin's Creed Origins is going to stutter. And I've seen this happen a number of different times. Now the standby queue can be huge. I've seen it 11 gigs even. So just go up here, go to empty standby list. And now you can hit F5 to refresh, and it should show the standby here being cleared. Yes. So we've cleared that. And there's two custom settings that I have here in the Radeon settings for Assassin's Creed Origins. One is that FreeSync is disabled. I found that this also can induce some stutter. So you want to turn that off. And then there's an issue with tessellation. Tessellation in Origins on Radeon, I know for sure on Radeon, is, at least on this card, is bugged. And it doesn't, it's either a huge system drain or it doesn't perform well at all. So tessellation is turned off in the Origins menu. You want to go override application settings and then set tessellation to 16x. Maximum tessellation level sets a cap on the number of polygons produced during the tessellation of objects. Setting a cap can prevent excessive tessellation with little or no benefit to image quality. So that was kind of an extended preamble there, but let me turn my overlay on. But that was kind of necessary here. Now I'm probably going to be restarting Origins once or twice today, because when we're loading in here, I'm starting at the very low preset, and that's on purpose, and I'll show you why in a moment. Because the game, frankly, does not run well at all in Alexandria. And even with the few things that I just did, it still runs badly in Alexandria. So I don't want you saying, well, you know, maybe if you turn settings down. Settings are turned down, so we're going to run some things here. I'm going to try to keep this video short, though. Even though I say that frequently, it almost never happens. Videos wind up being half an hour or more, but we're at 1440p, 100% resolution. FPS limit is off, VSync is off. Graphics are the very low preset, so textures are going to look bad, but actually the game does not otherwise look super terrible. So let's run the benchmark here. You're probably going to notice some stuttering in the benchmark. That's just the way this game goes. And as you saw me launch the game. So this is not the pirate copy that had Denuvo pulled out. This still has Denuvo in it. And you're probably seeing some micro stutter right there. It's unfortunate, really. This is like the only time where I think, you know, I wish I'd gone for an NVIDIA GPU, because really Radeon, high-powered Radeon does not do too well in this game. My RX 470 did okay. It definitely punched above its weight there, but now that I've got the power, now you look at the top GPU thing in my overlay, the GPU utilization, the first yellow line. We need max frames right now, and GPU utilization is sitting between 60 and 75%. It's like, why? And I'm pretty sure I'm not CPU bound. Origins can take advantage of a lot of cores and threads. I mean, I know the Ryzen 7 2700 doesn't have the fastest single-core score, but that's... Origins is one of those games that can take advantage of more CPU cores and threads, so I don't really think I'm CPU bound here. And yeah, you can tell from the texture work and stuff that we are definitely at low settings, but you know, you can crank the textures, leave the settings on low. I bet it still looks really good for a game that's on its low settings. At least I think so. And we'll be experimenting with that in a minute. I'm just going to be in Alexandria for this video after I run this benchmark. We're going to run around a little bit. Very high. Yeah, it's because I'm recording this time. You can see my performance with it. The gray line is my performance when I wasn't recording. And this is through Radeon ReLive, by the way. So my score's a little bit lower. Not too bad, though. That's always the case with these things, though. Once you start recording, it'll take a few frames off, even with a program like Radeon ReLive. So let's head in. We're in Alexandria. And I'm gonna call my horse and do some riding. Only through Alexandria. Alexandria is the worst spot in the game. Really. If you get good performance in Alexandria, I'm 99% sure you'll get good performance everywhere else. New quest? Come on. Oh, that's the weekly challenge. So here we are. You can see lowest possible settings. I'm in the upper 50s. We are at 1440p. So it's not like I'm not processing tons of pixels. But while frame rate is low, there is no micro stutter. This is completely smooth. And that is what disabling FreeSync and using RamMap to clear the standby stuff. That's the effect of it. It really smooths out the frame rate when you do those things. So what I'm planning to do, I'm just going to ride around a little bit here, show you some frame rate. Then I'm going to switch to the high preset. So I'm going to go here, and we're going to turn right around. And we'll gallop the other direction. And you can see on the frame time graph that I've got going underneath my FPS there, there are some spikes in. They're basically lag spikes. I don't know whether that's de novo or whether that's the game loading in. It is very easy to outrun the game's loading. Like, I've been galloping along like this, and suddenly the frame rate will just like tank to 30 FPS. And I stop galloping, and then the frame rate will go back up. Basically, what I theorize is that I was covering territory faster than the game could load it in. That's my theory, anyway. And once I stopped, the area loaded in, and then the frame rate went back up. This is installed on a solid-state drive, so I don't know if you would have better performance from that if it was on an NVMe M.2. Maybe. I mean, it doesn't really get much faster than those. Yep. So frame rate is generally on the lower side, but it is smooth. Little bit. Now you're seeing some micro lag, but it's not anywhere near like the stutter it used to be. And this spot right here, whatever this is, looks like a temple or something. No, the Great Library. Right outside the Great Library. This is like the worst spot. Okay, so you saw the frames. We dipped to 46 FPS there, I believe. So let's go to graphics. Still at 1440p. Let's go to the high. Let's go to the high preset. And let's see how it does. Assassin's Creed is one of my favorite franchises, but the value of the RX 5700 XT was just too good, so I knew I would have to be making some compromises when it came to Assassin's Creed. Hopefully in 5 years' time, graphics cards will be so powerful this game will be easy to run. So now, just to verify, we're still at 1440p and we are now running the high preset. And there are some things I would probably, if I were making a custom setting for this, there's some things I would probably turn down, like tessellate. Oh, I should have tessellation off. I think I can do that. Yes. Okay, so it's a high preset, but I turned tessellation off because I'm overriding it in my graphics card driver. But like fog, I would turn fog down and all that other stuff, whole bunch of stuff, to better optimize it. But let's see how we do. We should load right in front of the Great Library. Yeah. So now we're on the high preset. With, of course, custom tessellation settings. So let's go for a ride. You can see frame rate is a little bit worse. Not really. Much worse, though. One thing I would do... Oh, come on. But I'm gonna, after I take on this little ride here on this loop, and again, frame rate is smooth here. I'm seeing a little bit in the frame time meter there. For the most part, it feels pretty smooth to play. I'm not feeling a lot of lag. Certainly not the way it was before. Except, well, as soon as I say that, then we go into an area. Yeah, frame rate is clearly a little bit worse. And again, this is a worst case scenario. But I'm gonna ride this little loop here, and then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take us into the graphics options menu, and I'm going to take you through how I configure the game for when I play it. Outside of Alexandria, you'll see anywhere between 60 and 90 FPS. Really, Alexandria is very badly optimized. Very badly. If you go on the forums, whether on Steam or Reddit or anywhere else, you know, people will be like, what's the best settings to play Assassin's Creed Origins? And they'll give you their system specs or whatever. And a whole bunch of people will weigh in and say, doesn't matter. Once you get to Alexandria, optimized settings don't mean a damn. And it's true, unfortunately. So right through here, I believe previously I was getting about 52 to 55, and you can see right now we're between 45 and 50, so we lose about 5 FPS by turning the settings up. Given the amount of additional visual fidelity, that's not a lot of loss. Basically, I'd say FreeSync is a must if you're going to play this on Radeon. I have a FreeSync panel. That's what I'm using right now, and it can adjust the frames, adjust the monitor's timing from 75, it's a 75 hertz monitor, it goes from 75 to 48 FPS, so I'm not really going to notice. I can see that an increase in response time sometimes, but really I'm not going to notice unless it dips under 48. But as I said, okay, here we are. As I said, there are some things I would definitely change, and we're going to change them right now. Probably going to have to restart the game a time or two as well. So let's start. Anti-aliasing can go... No, I'm not doing adaptive. We're going to go to medium anti-aliasing, I think. Now shadows is a tricky one because look at the little picture they give you there. Difference between high and medium is huge. Difference between medium and low and very low, it's not that much. But medium versus high is a very big difference. And then of course between very high and ultra high has a difference, but high I think is the best trade-off, I think. So we're going to go for leave it on high shadows. Texture detail is already maxed. Okay. Tessellation should be off. Terrain is high. Clutter. I like my clutter, so we're going to turn that up. Wow, we have to restart the game for that. Okay. I'm going to try to edit out any sounds here. I'm having my morning tea while I make this video. I enjoy the whole configuring games thing. The problem is none of that's really spending time playing the game, which is the point after all. You know, there was a video of one tech YouTuber. He was like, you know, somebody asked him about Crysis one time, and he was like, well, I only ever play that one section because that's what we use in all the benchmarking runs. And I was like, wow. I mean, I understand. I'm not like, you know, wow, he's a horrible guy or anything. He isn't. He's a very good YouTuber. But I was just like, that's kind of sad that the only part of the game you know is the part that you run for the benchmark. Now, fog accuracy. Yeah, I guess that would look nice, but we're going to go medium fog. Not that big a difference in terms of visuals to my eyes, and the performance difference is significant. We're going to push water all the way up, and screen space reflections is going to be up. Clouds I'm torn on, because some people say they really affect performance, some say they don't. Now, character detail is a big one. That's one reason the frame rate in Alexandria can dip so low. Because there are a lot of characters on screen. So let's see. I don't think character texture detail is going to matter that much. Or we can drop it to medium. Oh, wait. No, I'm not. I'm not dropping that. Okay. Let's leave it on high. Can we drop detail? Yes, we can. Ambient occlusion, turn it off. Yes, I know it might give better lighting textures, or not lighting textures, better lighting effects, but... And depth of field I'm torn on. I believe this is one of those games that looks better with depth of field on, so we're going to leave it at that. Now, unfortunately, I love turning up environment details, but high is... Until we get an optimized driver, high is about the best we can do. But I do like my clutter, that's for sure. So let's see how we do with these settings. We should load in right at the spot. Right outside the Great Library again. I'm not expecting much worse performance than we did last time. Might even do a bit better. Yes, I turned some environmental settings up, but I also... Yeah, we're definitely running better than we were before. And by that I mean not the low settings run, I mean the high preset run that I just did. We're running about the same. And I've turned up some environment, and I turned off ambient occlusion and a few other things. So this is the story of Assassin's Creed Origins on an RX 5700 XT. We're still running about anywhere between 15 to 20% of the GPU's performance is sitting there unused. On average. I just saw a dip to, yeah, there it is again, 66%. But frame rate dipping to about 50 in Alexandria is not unusual, unfortunately. I would love to turn up some more environmental details. I don't know if that'll fully use the GPU or not. Okay, so I'm going to turn around here and then head outside of the city so you can see some frame rate outside of the city. But it's going to go right up. It'll be over 60. Oops, sorry. Still pretty smooth, so I'm not complaining about that. Frame times don't look so good on the graph, but it doesn't feel bad. Not for 50 FPS. And again, if you have a FreeSync monitor, it's really not going to seem that bad. But if you're somebody who has a 5700 XT and really wants 60 FPS at all times, you're not going to be happy with it, I'll tell you that. Because you saw, even on the very low preset, we could not hold at steady 60 in Alexandria. Just would not happen. And if you're somebody who is like a big fan of Assassin's Creed and you know you're going to be playing the any Assassin's Creed game that's already out, plus any new ones, for like hundreds or maybe even thousands of hours, you should be getting an NVIDIA card. It just runs these Assassin's Creed games better, and that's pretty much all there is to that. And I want to say that really started with the original release of Assassin's Creed 3. If you were on Radeon when Assassin's Creed 3 came out, you'll probably remember the famous Boston City bug. There was a place, I think it was when you were looking towards the harbor in Boston in Assassin's Creed 3, the frame rate would suddenly dip. Didn't matter how much performance you had. I knew somebody who had an R9 290 and he was playing Assassin's Creed 3, and the frame rate in Boston would be fine until he like turned and looked towards the harbor or something. Then frame rate would drop to about 30. But you can see now we're out of the city and we're over 60. Seems like a small achievement, but you saw my settings. Probably get a few more settings if you turn environmental detail down. I'm just very loath to do that because this is such a beautiful game. I want to turn all the environmental settings up. And the game plays smooth. The main complaint about Assassin's Creed Origins isn't that the game runs poorly on Radeon. Everybody pretty much knows that it does. But the issue is that it can micro-stutter. But if you use RamMap to clear the standby list before running it, that really has helped get a smooth frame rate out of the RX 5700 XT in this game. I think that's about it. I think I covered everything I wanted to cover. But you got to play with the settings in the driver settings sometimes. The tessellation, I found the tip about tessellation in a YouTube comment section underneath somebody's video. The FreeSync setting in the driver is just something I toggle all the time. Do you want FreeSync on? Do you want it AMD optimized? Do you want it turned off? You can't always tell which one is going to be the best setting. Assuming everything works as it's intended to, of course. Hope this video was useful to you, and if you're looking for answers, hope it gave you the answers you were looking for. Thanks for watching.